suppose one kind of final question around that is just around the adoption. There's always, in any new introduction of technology, there's always a layer of change management that comes in. There's always an understanding of how do we bring people through. What would be your advice for people adopting your tools or any? Is it a case of, especially because I like the way you said you can just literally effectively flip the switch and it's there. Would you work with your clients to kind of do trials on smaller teams, or is it something that should be boiled ocean, wham bang out? What's your suggestion?
No, absolutely. I mean, you exactly said it. That's exactly what we do. When we roll out with new clients, we typically start with a pilot team, what we call it. And there we do, we're very engaged in the process. We do the necessary hand-holding because we know it's a new technology and, it's AI. It's right 90% of the time, but there's times where it isn't right. I mean, all these different things where we go, we do the hand-holding, we go with our clients to really get them up to speed with a core group. And once that core group of service technicians, service engineers, or also like back office call center agents is convinced is up to speed and also gets really the benefits from it. I mean, that's the important thing. I'm not selling a tool for somebody to say, okay, now I have AI in my company. We're selling a tool to make a process more efficient and to increase the first time fix rate. Once we have this, then we roll out to the other teams. That's the approach we typically follow.
Yeah. Because then you've already, by doing that process, not only are you getting that proof of concept, but you're getting your change champions.
Exactly. That's exactly the right word. Yeah, change champions. And I think that's, it doesn't matter whether you implement a tool like Inside Loop or whether you build your in-house own solution or because there's a lot of problems that you can address in the company today with AI. I think service and the service process itself is definitely something where a tool like ours makes sense. But there are other things that like understanding your machine data, for example. And we had also lengthy conversations at Copperberg. At the Power 50 about that with the different participants. Yeah. Where do you draw the line? And what's the things that you want to do in-house and what's the things that you out-house? And we kind of came to the conclusion machine data, like getting data off your tractors or getting data off your whatever. Any piece of equipment, food factories, etc. If it's your product, you should be the one who understands the sensor data that comes out of the tractor or the food factory, right? But when it goes to the service process and steering the technicians and doing the knowledge management and learning from the past root causes and using AI for that, then maybe there's companies that specialize on the service process. Who you can learn from. I think this was a very interesting discussion that we had at Copperberg.
Do you think that it's really interesting because do you think that the dynamic has changed in the last 5 years, let's say, between solution providers, technology providers, and the companies that you serve? It sounds, what you're describing to me there sounds like a much more integrated partnership-based relationship where it's like, okay, this is the bit that we advise that you guys are going to know because it's your data, it's your machines, it's your combine harvesters, whatever, and that data intuitively. Where we are bringing in our level of expertise is how we move that data to the right place, how we translate that to actually become a service action point. That's the expert. So it's not just a case of buying feature sets anymore, I suppose, is what I'm getting to. Whereas, maybe even 5 years ago, we would look at it and we go, right, do we have dynamic scheduling or a scheduling tool? Do we have a mobile app? What are the feature sets? Now it's a little bit more in depth of, well, how are we going to work alongside you? Oh my God, what do you think on that? It's
an interesting question. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a two-sided answer here. Yeah? So are generally service providers or software providers working with clients in a more integrated way? In the large scheme of things, probably yes. Yeah. Because, 20 years ago, you had probably 10% of the applications running in a company that you have today. At the same time, there's more and more applications that we just get off the cloud. And these are, we just use them, and we don't need integration. We don't need a whole lot of customizing, etc. We just apply and use them. I think that's the one side of the answer. The other side of the answer is, when you have a new technology that comes in, like AI, which is like on top of everybody's mind. I think there's a natural rush because you don't have a whole lot of established products, or there's multiple ones, and you don't know yet, and you want to try out. You don't understand exactly what your needs are. Also, there's very often a drive to try stuff in-house, right? To try stuff on your own, or to just hire a couple of engineers and get going with it. And I think this is very similar to what we're experiencing now again with AI. So we see a lot of companies who are doing pilot projects. As I mentioned before, they integrate ChatGPT here and there, and they do little pilot projects, but they're not ready yet, neither ready to commit nor really saying, okay, this is where I want to implement a new tool. And it reminds me a lot of we've seen this before many times. I mean, it came with the adoption of the internet. At the beginning, everybody was building their own websites. Now, it was even before, when we had when databases came out. Frankly, it was the same thing, right? Databases in the 80s, I think it was in the 80s. You had they became accessible, and then at some point everybody was building their own mini CRM, using tools like Open Access, and then later Microsoft Access, building their own database-based applications, until they realized, hey, actually CRM is a discipline, and there's other companies that do it much better than I can do it in-house, and now let's implement a CRM system, right? So there's these two aspects. I think there's generally a trend to work more integrated with with different service providers, especially if you're a big company. I think this is a trend we've been seeing over years and years. And at the same time, there's this new technology adoption kind of curve where at the beginning there's a very strong trend, especially in large companies, to try out to do stuff on their own now.
And it's funny. It almost invariably ends up, like you say, we'll build this and we'll try it and we'll do it, and then we'll get to about however many years, 6 months, a year, 3 years.
Exactly, yeah.
And then eventually it's like, well, the amount of time and effort to maintain, develop, and stay ahead of the curve, it's not what our core business is, and it's not what we should be doing. It's what we should be doing is, focusing on where our strengths are. But it was just an interesting aside, because I'm starting to notice that a lot more, where it's even becoming almost we're starting to see ecosystems, an ecosystem thinking evolving in the business, where it's like, okay, these two partners we will work alongside to bring this together and stuff like that. It's just an observation. Okay, hopefully you found that really useful as a service leader. That's what our purpose here is to try and help you as a service leader be the best that you can. That's why we've got a library of over 600 hours worth of content. That's why I'm always speaking to some of the best people, the smartest people in the industry. Now, the great news is you can access all of that content. We normally just charge £45 a month or £450 a year, but we're so confident in the value that we provide, we actually offer a trial for anyone that's new to field service news, and that is just £9. So if you're in the States, it's roughly $11, $12 at the moment. That's what? A couple of cups of coffee. That will give you 1 month of full access. All 600 hours of content, white papers, research, great conversations like these. Plus, it gives you access to the Field Service News Service Leaders courses, which is over 70 courses designed to help you as a service leader. Now, if you want to take advantage of this, do so quickly, because we only do these offers every now and then, because we can only accept a certain volume of members before we have to kind of make sure everyone's onboarded correctly. So the button down below will say Unlock with FSM Pro. Okay, that's the button you click. You'll see a code just beneath that. Click that, take that code with you. The page will open into a new page, and you just pop that code just below, at the bottom, just below the payment section. that'll reduce your price down to £9. You can cancel at any time. So if it's not right for you, and I'll be honest, it usually is, and most people do continue on to have the full membership. But if it's not right for you, that's fine. You can cancel, and you've still got that access. You can still download everything theoretically, but most people find that because we're adding new content every month, it's a hugely valuable service. So take a look below, take advantage of this opportunity right now, and be the best service leader you can. Okay, take care.